episode 3 of Recollection. I'm James. Unfortunately, AJ was a bit under the weather, so he will not be joining us for this episode. But just wanted to go over a few things with our Grand Archive coverage. The first thing I wanted to go over with was the recap of our locals, like we always do. This past locals at the Haven Games, we had, I think it was 17 players. It was 16 or 17 players. It was 4 rounds. We had a blast like we always do. It was a lot of fun. And one of the best things was that, again, we had like a nice variety of different heroes and elements that were played. Alex LaPlume took first. I believe he went undefeated 4-0 with Fire Rye. We had Zach. He was Water Assassin. He took second. I believe Andrew took third with Wind Lorraine. And Ryan Fox got he took fourth with Water Tamer, which was really nice to see. I think a lot of people have this kind of collected decision that Tamer just can't carry their weight right now. They don't have the right cards. They just get blown out by other decks. But it was nice to see Ryan make top 4. I think if anyone could do it with Tamer, it's Ryan. He's very creative. He always kind of knows how to like tweak unpopular decks or unpopular archetypes and make them work really well. So it was really cool to see that. I think I came in I don't remember. I went 2-2. I was on Fire Lorraine again. Tweaked a few things, but again, I was going full aggro. I lost. Both my losses came from Wind Lorraine, which basically the way it would play out is I'd get very aggressive, like Fire Lorraine does. But the issue was I could not find floating memory to save my life, which when you're paying for, when you're trying to materialize something and you have to pay out of your memory, it really hurts. But what would happen is no memory. I'd deal a lot of damage, but by the mid to late game, which I shouldn't even have a late game if my game plan's going the way it should, but they were definitely stabilized, and I was running out of ammo. They would do board clears and stuff like that, which I have a lot of trouble preventing, and they would end up just outvaluing me. The games were still close. Don't get me wrong. I definitely the match against Andrew. I think he hit level 3. I was level 2. I think I dealt 26 damage out of his 28 max health. But he was able to knock me out. And I'm trying to think the other matchup. Let's see. I think, he hit level 2 with his Wind Lorraine. He did the tornado attack. He drew 4 cards or something like that, and it kind of just blew me out. And again, I could not find floating memory, but that's just kind of what happens. It's nothing crazy. It's just sometimes you just don't find the right cards. And despite all the card draw and, playing Hasty Messenger and all that stuff, it just didn't quite work out. But yeah, we had a great time every week. So Matt Heffelfinger, the other owner of Haven Games, and myself, with our Kickstarter product and all that, we got all these Kickstarter playmats, and every week we give out 2 playmats to players. And this was kind of inspired by the Flesh and Blood Armory kits, but we give 2 playmats out to players who have been active in the Discord, active showing up and playing, helping out with rules, and sort of judging right now. But no, it's nice to have people recognized for their good deeds and all that. So they got to go home with some Kickstarter playmats, which I think look really cool. I really like the green logo that's in the center of it. And it's good for new players. It has all the zones and stuff like that. On normal playmats, I don't really prefer the zones. But to each their own. I think it looks really cool, and it was nice for weebs to do that. And no, they were really excited. But again, it was like every element of every class was being played except for Assassin. I feel like right now there's just Water Assassin, but I did put in my weeks for Fire Lorraine, and I think next week I'm going to play Fire Assassin. There is a gentleman by the name of Nick Murphy who I think he got like 2 cases of product. He opened it all up, and he donated a very large amount of bulk to the Haven Games. And we're going now, like, a lot of the players have access to go through that, get commons that they, there's not too much product, and it is very expensive right now because it's Kickstarter stuff. But now, like, I needed, let's see, I have some of the cards right here. Like, I needed the Red Zone Rogue card that he spoiled. It was like the Korhazi Courier. I didn't have like any of those for some reason. I just got to look at my boxes. So I got some of those. I got the Patient Rogues. I believe I was short a couple of backstabs, which actually Scott was able to hook me up with. But you get what I'm saying. Like, just a lot of cards. The Idle Thoughts, the one with floating memory. And it's nice to just have access to that. And, all our guests that are playing there and all that, they can get bulk. And until Alt Edition comes out in a few weeks, it's just a handy way for that to, to get access to that. But no, I want to try Fire Rogue, or Fire Assassin, I'm sorry. I think it's kind of the same game plan. We're definitely going in big with damage and spike damage to kind of catch the opponent off guard and just blow their health out. The thing is, Assassin has a lot of cool tools. The Poison Dagger is probably like my favorite card that I'll be playing. The way you can just cumulatively add bonus damage to just blow them out completely, where they think they have the advantage, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna use the level 2 bonus of Xander so that you're dealing another additional damage. I'm gonna come in with the Assassin's Ripper and use a prep counter so that that's hitting for 3, and this is all stacking on Rending Flames. So you're like, Rending Flames, that's coming in for 3. They're arrested, so it gets +1 from Xander, so now it's coming in for 4. You're using the Poison Dagger, so now it's coming in for 5. You're then using the dagger to add 3, so now it's coming in for 8. And then Rending Flames doubles it to 16. And then the Poison Dagger trigger, which is causing all this, adds another damage. And that's just from your hero. That's just from the assassin stabbing. That's not including if you have Banner Knights out. That'll add actually another 2 damage because you'll be doubling it. And then you have all these other stealth units. Korhazi Courier, you have the Patient Rogues, you have there was another one. Oh, the Floating Memory one, the Kingdom Informant. It just sounds awesome. I have a feeling when it works, it's gonna really surprise people, and they're also gonna be like, I didn't know that's a thing in this game. And it's like, yeah, you can basically like just have a OTK. I really want to try it. Don't know if it's gonna work, but I'll do my best. Definitely playing the Mark the Targets to get some prep counters. I'm doing Accepted Contracts, which adds 3 preparation counters. I'm not sure how many to put in my deck at the moment, but we'll see how that goes. But there's just other cards that seem insane, like the Planet Explosives. As long as you have 1 prep counter, you're dealing 4, and if you're using the Poison Dagger, it's dealing 5. You're just like, all right, I'm dealing 5, and I'm doing this, and you're just like skyrocketing damage that typically they can't prevent. There is one card, I see it in so many decks, but like no one at our locals plays it. I think it's just a controversial card if it goes in or not, and that's Veteran Soldier. It's the 2/3 for 5. It's kind of like a bulky soldier, but the fact that it's floating memory is the big thing. I don't know. No one's really included it, but I think I'm going to try it out. I think there's enough ways to discard in this deck. So even if I don't pay 5 to play it, you can just kind of pitch it, and that just gets you into the floating memory. But yeah, I want to see how it works out. Sunday we're going to be closed for Easter, so we won't be doing our casuals that Sunday to test. But yeah, I'll definitely be there Thursday to try it out. Water Assassin has still been very scary, although I think Alex with Fire Rye this time was able to just completely blow it out. A big thing that I think was brought up was that there is Water Shield to negate Fire Eye, but if you have the Varuk or Varric, the forgot the type of card it is, but it's like the castle. It's like a landscape card, kind of like a stadium in Pokemon. The damage is unpreventable. So try as you might, Fire Eye is just going to get through you with nukes. So it was cool to see that. I think everyone was like terrified of Water Assassin because no one else was playing it. They didn't really understand it, which, let's face it, when Zach is like, so I'm revealing these 6 cards, and you take this damage, and I get to play this for free, and I heal, it's kind of overwhelming, especially for newer players who are like, I'm just going to play this unit, and it's a 2/2, whereas he's revealing cards, and he's doing all sorts of things that manipulate the match, typically for free. So, but no, Locals has been such a blast. Everyone's been very welcoming. It's been consistent. It's been between like 16 to 18 players. And every time we go, every single time we have a Locals, someone is like, I cannot wait to show this game to, my best friend, my girlfriend, my barber, my dentist, whoever it is. They're looking to get more people into the game, and that is something that I'm sure Weaves of the Shore is hoping for, but it's something as both a player, Kickstarter, and a store owner, I'm excited to hear, because I really want this game to continue growing, especially as the first set comes out, and then we have the second set coming in August. So, and some people, when they're dropping money on a product, they get kind of nervous about putting money into a new game because they don't know where it's going or the support. But, that's just kind of how it goes, and we're going to do our best to spread the love for it and have a great time. So, that being said, there is something kind of going on with our Locals, and I'm sure other Locals that are hosting are kind of dealing with the same thing. We kind of got as much product as we could with the sources available, especially since when we kickstarted this game, we were just signing our lease for the new store. So we did the best we could, but we got about like 36 boxes, a bunch of starters. Actually, it was like 12, 24, 26 booster boxes, and we got like 36 starters. We are completely sold out of starters. Some people bought multiple starters. Other ones got them as gifts for friends, but we are completely out. And the booster boxes, unfortunately, we only have about 1 Locals left, because what we do is you pay your entry, you get 1 booster pack for participating, and then there's 1 into the pool. And with 18 players, 36 packs, you're looking at a box and a half every single week. And then we also have casuals on Sundays. So you could see how we went through about a few cases pretty quickly. So, we're running out of packs. Thankfully, we're going to have Alt Edition, which we're ordering like a gazillion boxes for that. We're very excited. And then we can really kick off a bunch of events. We could do, we could do draft and such like that. But, it's just something, I was telling our Locals and all of that. So, we're excited to have more packs available. Drafting is a huge thing that a lot of us are excited. So, with that being said, there were a few things that I've been noticing kind of every week at Locals, maybe happening at your Locals, but just some things that are kind of particular with Grand Archive as a card game. I've kind of fallen into the trap because I have the foil Lorraine sleeves that I like love using. But one thing I would recommend to people playing Grand Archive is, you have your material deck and then you have your main deck. You should probably put the material deck in different sleeves than what your main deck is, only because there are times where you banish something or your weapon breaks or, whatever might happen with your material deck cards. And when they get mixed, you go into, let's say that's like round 1, it wraps up and you're like, okay, let me get my stuff together. You go into round 2 and you're like, okay, I'm going to materialize, Wind Bobble. And you end up seeing like one of your normal cards in there, like an Honorable Vanguard or something. And you're just like, well, that kind of ruins the game. Or you have to work it out with a judge or work it out with the other player. But it's easier to avoid all that if you just have this, the different sleeves, so you can separate it easily at the beginning of the game, or you don't miss a card or something like that. It's even worse if you go to draw a card from your main deck, and then there's like a sword or a weapon or, a regalia in there that you're just like, well, I'm not just going to draw that into my main hand, into your hand of cards, because that kind of screws everything up. Something else I would say that I've seen pretty much every player go through at some point is, and AJ and I have discussed it before, but just the managing your memory and planning out your next turn and making sure you have enough cards to do things. There's a lot of times people go, I've got X amount of cards in my hands. This costs 3, or yeah, this costs 3, and you have 4 cards or something like that. You play it out, and then you're like, that didn't work out because I thought I would have like 1 extra card to do something with, or 2 extra cards, and it costs 1. So you would like put 1 in memory and do it, but you didn't count that the card itself is also leaving your hand when you play it. It's not just you pay 3 and it just it shows up. You have to play that card as well. I see a lot of people, they think on something very quickly and they just go right in, and then they're like, wait, that like the math didn't work out. So their board state's a mess, or their combo didn't quite work out the way they had intended. So yeah, just like take your time when you're doing your memory and all that, but don't take too much time because then you're kind of delaying the game, and that can get frustrating, or it can mess the matchup. But yeah, just things to practice. I know a lot of times, I'm sure you can do it on like TTS or any software like that. But I know when I'm building a deck, like I'm building this Fire Assassin deck right now, I'm just solitaring at my desk. That's just to see if there's any consistency going, how it feels. Obviously, you can't simulate a real match because you don't know how long your stuff's going to stay on the field, or what they're going to do, whether they're making you. You have to react to them. But it's good to just kind of practice, get familiar with the deck, and just you typically want a strategy as far as like, this is when I want to level up. This is when I want to bring out like a poison dagger. This is I know there's the card. I've got it right here. I think it's like exhausting fumes or orb of choking fumes. One would be a good time to play that. Some people would rush it out to just get ahead early on, but I think a good time would be like, well, my opponent, who's a Fire Rai, let's say for example, he's about to do a huge combo because he's level 3. I can buy an extra turn doing it now, and that'll get me enough time to kill him or her. But just stuff like that. It just helps to practice and get familiar with the deck. It can be exciting just piloting a deck for the first time at locals, but it can frustrate your opponent because they don't know what you're doing, and you might be just as confused as they are, as far as that goes. Another thing I would bring up is floating memory. Floating memory, in my opinion, is the most important thing in the game as of now with the first set. It's essentially card draw because it earns you. You don't have to take away cards from your memory. You're just paying from stuff that you've played or discard or pitched or discarded. Let's take like Honorable Vanguard, for example, the 1/2 ally that has floating memory. I mean, you're playing it. It's cheap. It can be dealing damage, but as soon as you're ready to level up or materialize that card that has a cost, you can try to suicide it somehow if you think they're going to retaliate. You can cremate it with the card that lets you draw 2 cards. There's a lot of ways to put your own stuff into the graveyard. So just keep that in mind. Floating memory, you probably want, I would say 12 to 16. That's just what I'm comfortable with. I usually, right in the middle, I usually play 14. That might change with Assassin. It's probably going to be maybe like 15 or 16. But no, it's very important to manage your floating memory. I know obviously like a lot of your units have it, and you want to have a field presence, but you also want the floating memory to come in. When you're ready to hit that level 2 and 3, especially level 3, you do not want to pay 3 cards out of your memory. That is kind of a disaster because you're at level 3 and you're like, awesome possum, I'm level 3. But then again, you're also starving on resources, which is going to allow your opponent to capitalize on that, catch up, do whatever they have to do. So yeah, just keep that in mind with the floating memory. Some quirky plays that I've kind of noticed. There is a card that it's probably like top 5 cards of mine, Blazing Throw. It is a 1 cost, and it just says as an additional cost to activate this card, sacrifice a weapon you control. deal 4 damage to target unit. This is a skill. It is not an attack, which means you can do an attack such as like, and this goes back to like kind of like the combos I was talking about with Assassin. You have Rending Flames. You can do all this craziness, all the combos. You're using your dagger, you're poisoning, you're doing Rending Flames, 6 doubles to 12, and then it goes to 13. When you're done with all of that, and even though your assassin is rested, at the very end, you can then go, and I'm pitching one, paying 1 memory, and then you throw the weapon. You can do that on top of attacking because it's a skill. And chances are, if you are doing all that and then you are throwing, they're usually dead. The combo that I have in mind, if you can throw at the end of it, you're dealing 21 to 22 damage, which if they're not level 3, they're dead, like 9 out of 10 times. So there are skills that you can stack, even though you've already swung in with your weapon. And thing is, if you're going to throw the weapon, which breaks it, if you're throwing it and it's going to win you the game, who cares if you're losing the weapon? The game's over. You're it's a GG. So, keep that in mind. There are a few cards also that multiple people brought up this weekend. There is a level 3 Lorraine Crux card with Ascension, and it talks about how you need to return a card that you own. And the big thing was, so you return the card you own, and then you can play it on the field, and you get the benefit of it. But the big thing about it was, I think, I probably messed that up, was if you own it, can it be banished? And you just take from, your banished zone and do that. We were pretty confused on it. We had a few people saying it could be in your banished zone. We had a few people saying it couldn't. But I asked a few people in the Discord. We got confirmation that it has to be on the field. If you own it, like if it's in your banished, I guess you still own it. It's not like your opponent owns it. But it has to be on the field to for you to fulfill the prerequisites for that. So just little things like that. One thing, I don't think there's an official ruling for it. If there is, please comment, let me know, or reach out to me on Discord or whatever. But as new players are learning and we're all getting into it and getting our reps in, people are running into overtime. A big thing was, what are overtime rules? I could not find this anywhere. I couldn't find it in the comprehensive rules. I don't know if I missed it, but other people looked, they couldn't find it. What we've been doing is, when timer round ends, whoever's turn it is turn 0, and then it's turn 1, 2, 3. So each player gets 2 turns, and then whoever has the least damage counters on them, they win. I try to be careful with the wording there, because you could just say, well, whoever has the most health, and all that means is technically like whoever's level 3, and usually the warrior has like the most health. People say it like that, and then it's like, well, that's kind of unfair because of who the character is, and that's not really indicative of like the game, like who's further in the game progress or closer to achieving victory. So we just do whoever's taking the least damage, because technically in this, I think it's kind of like Pokemon. When you take damage, you're supposed to have you're technically having counters on your character. So that's how we've been running it. If you guys run it differently, or you've heard differently, or just let me know, because I'd be very interested to see how other places are doing it until Weebs actually makes like an official overtime rule. I'm sure as we get closer to OP and we have the official events and all that, they'll come up with that. That kind of ties into like just looking forward to the OP software. Right now, I think stores just use whatever they have handy, whether that's like Challenge, the online software, or not software, but like the website. People use like the Konami tournament software, just whatever is handy. But I'm hoping that Weebs develops their own software or has like an online website to keep track of local play, so people can earn credit towards their locals. I know they're going to have like a ranking system and all that in place. So I have a feeling it's going to tie into that. But yeah, I'm just I don't know. I'm just really excited to see how this all pans out and how it shapes up as we get closer to retail, which is in a few weeks. Especially with the Texas event coming up as the first official tournament. Not the convention one. I think that's in like 4 weeks or something like that. But I think that's just more of like they're showing off the game and they're going to give out promos and have merchandise, stuff like that. So, speaking of merchandise, I did go on the Discord and I was asking if there was another Discord merch sale going on. They've done that I think they've done it twice so far. They basically said they're looking into doing it shortly after release, so that would probably be in May. There's a lot of cool stuff they have. They have deck boxes and they add more inventory, or like they have a more variety every time. I know a lot of people want the Merlin deck box. I know I'm just hoping for like more different sleeves. Right now they have Lorraine and Rye. The sleeves look amazing. Their quality's pretty good, but I would recommend getting like character guards or something to protect them so they don't shred and get destroyed from shuffling and all that stuff. But like for the shop, we got this giant table mat. It's not like a play mat. It covers the entire 6x4 foot or table of all the Grand Archive characters. But they have, I think I said like the deck boxes. They had a Lorraine one, a Sylvia one, and now there's a Merlin one. And they're all great. And then I forgot how much it is. It might be like every $30 or $40. You get promo packs, and some of them can be foil, which they all look amazing in foil. But a lot of the promos have alt art and they look cool. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to that. If you're not on the official Grand Archive Discord, make sure you're on there. Just so you have a heads up. On top of just the merch shop, they also do a lot of like, I think they do like art contests, or they do raffles, or just stuff like that where you can get cool promos. And most of it never costs anything. It's just your time. And usually doesn't, it's not that big of a deal. So just keep your, ears and eyes out, and you never know if you'll win something. You could also meet other Grand Archive players. I know the devs are on there. And they're a great bunch of people. They've always gotten back to me. The other players have like a lot of good advice and stuff like that. So yeah, you can look into joining that, because I know right now in Florida, I think the Haven Games is one of 3 stores. I haven't been to the other 2 stores. I don't know if they're supporting local play. If they do, that's fantastic, and they should advertise. But it's a great way to meet other players and people at other stores, and you can kind of get a feeling if you have to drive 1, 2, 3 hours to go there, it's a good idea and to see what the scene's like ahead of time. I know we've been having a bunch of people join our local Discord because they're curious, and if they're going to drive out, if they want to see who they're playing with, and that's perfectly fine. So and we've already met great people that typically don't come to our locals. I know there's Zach and Chris in particular. I think they drive like an hour and a half every Thursday to come out and play. And no, it's been great meeting them, and looking forward to just more players coming out. I know, right now we have our locals. We're going to start either on Sundays, or maybe we'll rotate on Thursdays or something like that. We're going to do drafts. This game has a very interesting draft because there is an option to do hybrid draft. And what that is you get 6 packs. And typically, if you were to draft 6 packs, by the time you're done drafting 6 packs, you're probably collecting Social Security. So what they offer to do is you draft 3 packs, and then the other 3 packs you just open, and those support the deck that you've drafted. So I just call it a hybrid mix, but it's kind of like a draft sealed. I don't know. We haven't done it yet. We simply don't have enough packs to do that, because 6 packs per person, like that'd probably be like 2 to 4 boxes depending on how many people showed up. But no, when Alt Edition comes out, we're definitely going to do that. We're going to try to record it. and see how it goes. I know some people don't particularly like draft, but I think it's a great way to branch out into characters or elements that you normally wouldn't play instead of just being locked into one play style. And even if you are locked into one play style, drafting kind of gives you flexibility to try out opponents or classes and combos that you'd play against, so that you can kind of go, all right, so normally I play, Fire Lorraine, but I'm playing Water Tamer. And then once you can see the strengths and weaknesses of that class, when you're playing a real game, like, constructed play, you can take advantage of that. So, and it's really fun. And who knows, you may pull something insane when you get your packs, which just adds to the fun. So, I don't know. Definitely give it a try. I hope we start seeing more info about that stuff, or we see people. I don't know if there's a way to simulate that on Tabletop Simulator, but I think it'd be really cool. And it's something different. It's always nice to have like a variety of options, so you're not just doing the same thing at every locals. So I don't know if you guys have tried that already. That's cool that you have so many packs. But just comment, let me know what's up with that. But so yeah. Something I was going into with that, we're going to be doing draft, the standard play, but I don't expect anyone to know me, but I've been working, I've been kind of with the Final Fantasy TCG community almost 6 years now. I've been doing my best to host events and major tournaments for the game. In fact, in 2 weeks from now, we have a 102 player Final Fantasy tournament coming up at the Haven. Which is part of Hobby Japan Square Enix's OP program for the Materia Cups. So that's very exciting. But as I was hosting a lot of independent events for Final Fantasy that usually had about 70, 80 plus players, that is my intentions for Grand Archive. I am super excited to host major events. As many players as we can get to come out. That's kind of the goal. We want it to be a lot of fun. We want to have merch. I don't know if Weebs ends up doing a variety of merch, whether that's t-shirts or, I know they're doing a lot of playmats right now, which is great. All their playmats look fantastic. Whatever we can get their hands on, but, giving that stuff out, having a lot of amazing games, having a huge level of competition going on at the store. I like doing the independent tournaments, but even if we were part of a league that went across the country, and we would work with other store owners or weebs themselves, and then they work it out. I'm just looking forward to consistent OP support and stuff like that. That's usually what gets more players involved. Just looking forward to that kind of news, but along with that, I'm looking forward to just hosting it. If there's a way that I can host and play into it, I'll definitely do that. What I think is going to happen is when I'm hosting, there's just too much stuff going on, judging, making sure all the brackets are correct, making sure food and drinks are available, doing all this stuff. But I will definitely travel to other stores to play, try to earn promos, and all that good stuff. So that too, if you guys talk to the devs, or if the devs are watching, that's just a huge thing I'm sure everyone's looking forward to and they brought up. So as soon as you guys can get info out about that, that's something I want to share with my local players. And we're so close to Alt Edition, which I've probably said like 100 times already, but it's just exciting. I've been having a lot of fun with this game, and I was kind of in I was playing Flesh and Blood for a while, but I took a break, and I was just kind of like not playing anything for a bit. So I'm just glad all this is kind of coming to fruition. I hope Fire Assassin works out. I know it's kind of a very Zergy deck, like most Fire decks are, but I do like a lot of the cool little regalia they get. I like the combo from earlier. I didn't even bring up Poison Coating Oil, which gives a stealth ally +2 until end of turn. That's like another thing that just stacks ridiculous damage, which if you're poisoning them and then you put the coating oil, let's say you have like the Patient Rogue, it comes in for 3. This is going to make it come in for 5. The Poison Dagger is going to make it come in for 6. That's like 25% of their an enemy's health. That's pretty good. And that's just on like a little unit, an ally. That's not including the big wombo combos you're going to be doing. That actually, not I don't know how it's related, but it just popped in my head. Something awesome that happened at locals, which this sort of thing doesn't happen too often in many stores. But I think the chase card right now, like the non-foil chase card, it's probably the Grand Crusaders ring. It just gets you a free card. It's never going to be bad until there's like a Ultra Grand Crusaders ring that gets you two. No, my friend Alex LaPlume pulled it. I don't even, without even like a split second, I hadn't gotten one yet. He was just like, you know what, there you go. Now you have it, and your decks are just going to be better basically by default. It's a great card. I think it's basically the chase card until you get one. That is the thing you're hunting for. I think every deck can use it. Like, how can you say no to card draw? But either way, he just gave it to me. So huge shout out to you, Alex. I really appreciate it. And it's been kind of this thing at our locals that whenever a new box gets opened and we do locals and everybody gets their packs, everyone's waiting for someone to get the ring. The other URs are good, don't get me wrong. But I know at our most recent locals, one of our players, Venny, got her ring, and everybody, woo! They got excited because it's just fun to see someone get that. And I know they're going for like $60-$70 right now, so it's pretty expensive. And to just pull one is very exciting, and it's, it's just part of locals. It's just the community stuff I like with that. But so if you don't have one, by the way, I'm sure you can just wait for Alt Edition. Maybe it'll be a little cheaper because everyone's gonna be opening up a ton of boxes. But it's an awesome regalia to have. I would say always have it in your deck. You only need one, so it's not too rough on making room for it. But other than that, kind of a shorter video this time. Just because AJ was feeling sick and all that, and we're kind of just in between waiting for Alt Edition to come out. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure we're gonna be recording, like we've said in other videos. We're gonna be doing a lot more matches. We're gonna be doing deck coverage and stuff like that. Haven't really been doing deck coverage right now because everyone's just kind of testing stuff out, and we have a lot of rulings we have to do because people are learning the game, and that sort of thing. But as the game is officially available, we're definitely gonna ramp it up. And I also appreciate all the positive feedback people have been giving us. I know a lot of people say that when they drive to work, or they're working at work, or they're just they have us in the background, and I'm really happy about that. It's nice to hear things like that. We just want the channel to grow, and we want to hopefully just meet all these Grand Archive players at different conventions, and at our store, people who happen to come by, and when the official tournaments come out. Just really looking forward to playing, collecting, all the different facets of the most TCGs. That kind of reminds me, with the I just remembered that despite playing, I don't know if I'm going to be doing this, but they are also doing collecting. There's a league where you show up to an event and you show them your collection, and based on certain particular parameters, you can earn promos or stuff like that. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of crazy collections people come out with. I know I've seen people in the Facebook group, they have 9 collector rares already, all of Lorraine's, all of Rise, all of Sylvie's. It's considering each of those cards is minimum $1,500. That just seems insane. Kind of jealous, but no, it's I'm looking. I really want to see how that's gonna turn out. It'd be cool if they shock people where they're the thing we're looking for with this is a theme with commons, and people, commons aren't really a thing people flex or show off, but who knows, maybe someone has play sets of every common in foil, which seems nuts because foils are really hard to get right now. And I think it's going to stay that way in Alt Edition. I think it's going to be 3 foils per box, but I don't know. I've never seen that in a card game before, and some people like it, some people don't, but it's nice that people who just collect and appreciate the art and all that, they're in their own little league, and they don't have to worry about competitive play. So it's just another avenue to enjoy the game. But yeah, that being said, thanks for listening in and watching the video. AJ will be back next week. When we're just gonna be doing these videos every week. I always look forward to doing them. And yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, just let us know. We're always looking forward to meet people. But standard like, comment, subscribe, share, all that cool stuff. We're just very excited to grow and flex this game because we're loving it. So that being said, have a great Easter, have a great weekend, all that good stuff, and we'll see you around.